My name is Karen Sussman. I'm a holistic health educator and a 100% raw vegan. I brought with me Dr. Dean Geske. In case you're wondering if you can live and be happy and healthy eating this way, I brought him to assure you that this is a good thing. That it will work for you if you know what you're doing and try to be well-rounded. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell them a little about yourself?
Sure. As Karen said, I'm Dr. Dean Geske. I'm a holistic doctor of chiropractic. I practice in Newport Beach, just down the street here at a holistic health center called Health Dynamics. I have a lot of raw food patients that come in to me, not only for help with certain types of food and diet conditions, but as well as structural and emotional things. Food and nutrition is just one part of your health, if you look at it as a triangle. It's a very holistic health center. The average person that comes to see me has been to about 12 different doctors, including other chiropractors, and drives over an hour. So that's kind of the place that that I work with, and the doctor that you have available through Karen and Raw Food. I'll leave it over to Karen for now, and if any other questions come up, I'll answer them, and we'll see how this goes.
Thank you. Yes. Just curious, how many of you are already vegetarians? Raise your hand. How about vegans? Anybody? How about any raw fooders? Anybody out there? Just one? How about people who just still eat meat and everything else? All right. So of all of you who are here, who's motivated by health reasons to be here tonight?
Good.
Very good. Because it could be other reasons, ethical and the like, but health is what we're really focusing on. I just want to let you know, if you hadn't figured it out already, you are in the best place in the world to be pursuing this lifestyle. There's a huge group of people in Orange County and LA alone that are pursuing the raw food lifestyle. And just in the last 9 months alone, it has blossomed. And just about every night of the week, there's some place you can go to associate, socialize, learn about the raw food lifestyle. So it's a movement that's been documented in the LA Times and People magazine, all the major New York Times, you name it. They all lately have been talking about raw food. It's a trend that looks like it's going to be taking over because everybody is at a loss. The American society is going crazy. They're getting obese. People are dying at record numbers. It's out of control. No one seems to know what the answer is. And I'm here to tell you this is the answer. One of the major ways it's been an answer for me is, fortunately I haven't been struggling with lots of health issues, but I have been struggling my whole life ever since I stopped growing with my weight. And I've been yo-yoing up and down for the last 18 years, and in excess of 150 pounds. And I brought with me last year's jeans. These were last year's jeans. They look a lot bigger when I put them on, I think, but I'll pass them around in case you were curious to see. That's what I was wearing. They're around the 16 or so. And right now I'm wearing 5 or 6 and they're a little loose. So. But one of the most wonderful things about the raw food diet is that you will be able to consume as much fat as you want, as long as it's as much fat as you want, as long as it's unprocessed fat, be it avocados, raw macadamia, raw walnuts, raw almonds, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, for example. You will be able to enjoy your salads now. Years ago when I did low-fat diets, I'd buy the bottled stuff, the low-fat, no-fat dressing, and not really enjoy my salads. But now I have the most decadent salads imaginable. People love my salad dressing that I didn't make up the recipe, but everyone adores it, and they can smell it miles away because it's got garlic in it. But it's awesome, and as part of being here today, there's a sign-in sheet going around. If you have not seen it, there's 2 of them actually. Sign your name and email address if you have it, phone number if you don't, and we can keep you in the loop on the talks and like raw food prep classes. A lot of this stuff is free. Like we have a guest in the audience, Amy up front here, who gives raw food prep classes, and we'll be teaching one tomorrow night in Laguna Beach. So for free food, free talk, free learning. So
where is this at?
Laguna Beach
Where?
at Wild Oats.
Wild Oats?
Yeah.
6 to 8.
From 6 to 8 tomorrow. So she plans on coming back here at one point as well. So you'll be able to come here. Before we get started, is there any issues someone wants to make sure that we cover tonight? Is there anyone that has any pressing issues? Yeah.
Osteoporosis, I think I saw that on your chart.
Okay, the osteoporosis? Okay, for sure. Are you a meat eater right now?
I'm just borderline.
Borderline? Do you have a lot of dairy in your diet?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Okay. A lot of yogurt?
Yeah.
Did you have one?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to talk about, is there temporary weight loss when you switch to a raw food diet or vegan diet?
Is there a temporary weight loss?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did experience that when I switched to a vegan diet. Now I switched to a raw food diet the last couple of months, and I've had trouble. I mean, I've lost too much weight.
Not too much weight?
Yeah.
There are several thoughts about the weight loss that comes with a raw food diet. One of them is that you're not eating enough food, because when you're eating more unprocessed foods, everything's caloric intake is caloric value is low. You need to eat more food. So there's a lot of people just eating salads, but they're not eating, nuts with their salads, or getting enough fat in their diet. They're just eating a lot of just pure sugars or things of that nature. It's just like anything else. You can screw it up. You can screw up any kind of diet. You need to be well-rounded. Make sure you got enough fat, enough protein in your diet to make up for it. You make sure you're eating enough. Some of the weight loss that can happen at the beginning of a raw food diet is in regards to how toxic you are. If you've spent your whole life eating like crap and now you're eating a pure raw diet, your body needs to get rid of all the toxins it's been building up over the years. And so what has happened with some people is their body's breaking down all those toxins and getting rid of the toxins, and then it rebuilds your body with brand new strong cells built from the good vegetables and fruits and things that you're now eating, the pure foods that you're now eating. Yeah?
Well, the toxins usually stored in the fat, so it's like gets rid of the fat and then starts all over.
Right. Like I said, there's a couple reasons you could be losing weight. One is that you're not eating enough, or it could be both, or that your toxins are being just eliminated from your body.
I think that's what happened. I think when I switched to a vegan diet, I lost weight for a few months and I gained it back.
Vegan is really good to get a lot of toxins out, but a lot of people feel it really hard when they hit the raw. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. But you should be losing weight when you're on a raw diet if you have any to lose. You should be losing weight. If you are not, there's something wrong with your body. Your body's not working properly, and that's when someone like Dr. Geske here comes in handy, because maybe your thyroid's not working or you have blockages, things of that nature. He can help with that. So if you need to lose weight and you're not losing weight on a raw diet, you need to see someone for help. Yeah.
So then it temporarily alters your digestive system?
Temporarily? What do you mean?
When you first start the process of changing
it's not altering your digestive system. Basically, you're getting out of your way. Like, let me just back up. What is your body meant to do? Your body takes the nourishment in that you eat and feeds your cells, takes all of the waste products from your cells and eliminates it from the body. When you eat processed or cooked foods, your body has to stop the waste removal process and actually spend time digesting your food. It takes the enzymes away from your vital organs and makes it digest your food instead of cleaning your blood. So years and years of processed food and cooked food allows for toxins to keep building up and building up and building up in your cells. It's really that simple. So as soon as you get away, even if it's 30% raw or 50% raw, you will notice a huge change in just a short amount of time in how you feel. Just a little change like that. Don't feel that you have to change 100% overnight or it's not worth your time. Yeah.
Question. I was told that some raw foods are poisonous. I mean, it has like strychnine or whatever, so you have to cook it to make it digestible for humans. Some food.
Do you know anything?
Mushroom.
I mean, other than
It's just a sign up.
the vast majority of foods, that's not an issue with. Obviously there's toxic mushrooms that are out there, that you can't eat no matter what. But of the regular food, everything that you find here, no. Unless you're running around.
I thought that was from yesterday.
Well, certain foods you don't want to eat raw, not necessarily because of things like that, but because they just don't taste good raw. And you know, you want to eat the things that taste good raw. And most potatoes, the ones that are normal for baking, don't taste really good raw. But there's ways to make, you know, say mashed potatoes or whatever with other things that taste just like potatoes, so you'll get that flavor.
So you have a list of things, foods?
Well, you can read. They have lots of books here for sale. The Raw Life is here. Grab some books for the list of things. Yeah, there's a lot of excellent books. Yes.
Do you include grains and lentils and beans as a raw food?
Some raw fooders do, some don't. I personally, grains are too much work for me. You have to soak them, and if someone else prepares them, I will eat them. But for the most part, I don't choose to do that. But I do use a lot of beans and sprouts. I have noticed a huge change just in the last couple of months since increasing my beans and sprouts in my diet. I've had people come up to me and tell me my teeth look like they were professionally whitened in the last couple of months, and that's just after a couple of weeks or a month of eating lots of greens. And the beans as well, yeah.
How do you prepare the beans?
I just get the sprouts mostly, the bean sprouts. Just eat them straight up. Yeah.
How long have you been eating raw?
Well, I'll tell you the whole thing. I went vegetarian about 5 years ago, and then I went vegan about almost 2 years ago.
What is vegan?
Vegan is no dairy, no eggs, in addition to no meat. And that's when I started noticing the health changes, to be honest. When I went vegetarian, I mainly did it for ethical reasons, really didn't read up on it, just did it because I thought it was the right thing to do. Figured long term it was good, that was all I needed to hear at that time. Had no intention of ever going raw, or excuse me, even vegan for that matter, forget raw. I thought even being vegan would be boring. I just thought the food would be horrible and boring and not creamy and luscious and cheesy, you know, all the stuff you associate. And I was wrong. And the same thing with raw. I thought when someone told me raw food diet, I thought dry broccoli. That was the first thing I thought about. And I think I've had broccoli once or twice since I've been raw. Neither time was it dry. It was like getting quiche or something. So, you know, throw all your misconceptions out the window of what this diet is like. This food tastes better than anything you've ever eaten before because it's not been killed, it's not been processed. It's like nature intended. The longer you're on a raw food diet, the more sensitive your tongue gets to even more flavors. So things that you tasted years ago when you tasted after you've been raw for a while will taste even better.
Define raw food.
Define raw food. Great. Raw food is anything, and the number is fluctuating. As long as you don't heat it over 115, 118 degrees, it's considered still raw. A lot of people think raw food means cold food, and how could I be a raw foodist in the wintertime? I went raw in February. It's pretty cold then, and I did not miss it at all. I did not miss warm food. Think about it this way. In the summer, do you stop cooking your food because it's hot outside? No. So why would you do the opposite or worry about cold food in the winter? Basically what I do with a lot of my food is just let it sit out at room temperature, get, you know, half hour, get up to room temperature, it's fine. Yeah.
What blood type are you?
A positive.
Does that factor in as to what blood type you are, as to whether or not you can be an effective vegetarian? Vegan?
I don't believe it is that it matters what blood type you are. No, I don't believe it matters. A's happen supposedly to be natural vegetarians, but I was a meat lover when I gave up meat. I always ate meat, and I just, like I said, I gave it up just, you know, for the point of giving it up. Yeah.
Any
What
opinion
percent
on
of your diet is fruit?
Not a whole lot. I'm really heavy on the greens right now because I've had such wonderful, quick results with it, and it's so yummy. It's quite addictive. Gosh, I wouldn't say, I guess 20% or less, I think, would be as fruit. I have a lot of fat in my diet, a lot of nuts, and then a lot of greens. But everybody, you know, you gravitate toward what you want, and the cleaner you get, the more you eat raw, the cleaner you get, your cravings will actually start to mean something. Your body will actually, the craving won't just be irrelevant. It's actually going to be meaningful for your body. So I can tell when I need protein. My body tells me when I need protein. Yeah.
And what do you eat besides the nuts for protein?
The beans.
Bean sprouts?
Yeah, the bean sprouts. And just about everything has a little bit of protein in it. You will not have to worry about protein being, you know, minimal. You only need 10 to 15% protein anyway. But I'm going to go back into my outline and start covering stuff, and then if need be, we'll cover into questions again. So if you can hold your questions for a little while, that would be great. So as I said, I started as a vegetarian, and then I went vegan based on Howard Lyman's talk. Anyone heard of Howard Lyman before? Anyone know when Oprah got sued by the cattle industry back a few years back? The beef industry sued Oprah. Well, this was the guy that was on her show that she got in trouble with and got sued with. And I met him a few years ago on St. Patrick's Day. And the day I met him, I gave up dairy and eggs in addition to the meat I had already given up. And this brings up the osteoporosis question from earlier. You know, why would anybody give up dairy? First of all, the #1 thing to give up in your diet, by the way, above all else, is dairy products. Well above meat. Dairy is the absolute worst for you. It's so much more high in fat and toxins. It's basically pus and mucus and a little bit of blood. And it's, you want to tell them how bad it is? He loves this, so I'm going to let him say.
This is a fun story. A lot of people have arthritis, like rheumatoid arthritis and allergies and things to milk products and dairy products, just FYI. So it's a good thing to get rid of. Remember those commercials that used to run on TV? Milk does the body good? Do you remember those? You don't see them anymore, do you? Because they were sued in a court of law. Because milk does not do the body good. It's actually harmful. If you took milk and poured it on the ground, you could be sued for or fined for toxic dumping. It's actually a felony because there's so many hormones, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. So much junk in there. So anyway, now it's got milk and paid lots of advertising to name brand it. But it's, you know, got a lot of things in it that your body doesn't really need. We're the only mammals that still drink milk after we're done weaning. So not only are we not drinking your own milk, we're drinking some other mammal's milk. So just, you know, there's a lot of interesting things happening in our health society today. There's this one man, he's pretty, you guys might have heard of him, his name's Adolf Hitler. It's quite famous. He's got a couple of interesting sayings. He says, if you tell a lie loud enough, long enough, people will believe it. And that's pretty much what he did. And it still goes on today. Another one says, how great for the rulers that men do not think. So make sure you do think about what you put in your mouth, and that's kind of what Karen and I are up here telling you. We're not telling you what to do or what you shouldn't do. It's just kind of saying, make sure you think about what you're doing. Do your own research. It's very beneficial.
Organic milk. Organic milk.
Organic milk is better than regular milk. But it's still, yeah. The closer you can get to organic, the better on anything. And then there's other things that you should exclude from your diet.
How about yogurt?
It depends. It's still dairy, but I mean, it's a choice. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, I tell my patients when they come in to me that I'm not going to tell them what to do. All I'm going to do is make recommendations based on what their body needs and what's going on with them. It's up to them to make the decisions, because the moment I take control is the moment they lose the power and the control in their body. And the moment you lose control and the power of your body and making decisions in your body is the moment you'll have diseases and other things that go wrong. So stay in control of your decisions and what you're doing. I'm there to help and assist a lot of my patients, so that's how I treat it. And again, those decisions are yours. Okay? Yes?
What about whey protein? I know that's dairy, but everybody seems to think it's good. Is that good in a vegan diet?
For some people it is. It just depends on the person. I think there's better sources of protein. So.
You mean the nuts and seeds are better than the whey?
Yeah. So I'll get this back to Karen. I hope that answers your milk questions.
By the way, if any of you are interested, not necessarily tonight, but at another time, in having a tour of the store of where are all the non-dairy versions of everything, because it takes a lot of work to actually read a lot of the labels, let me know, we'll work it out, I'll come back and show you, because I've read all the labels and I know it tastes best, I've had everything. And I know how much you don't want to waste money on something and go, oh, this tastes like crap, I'm not going to eat vegan because that tasted like crap. No, no, no. There's stuff out there that's to die for, and you will have no problem at least transitioning to vegan, if not at least 20, 30, 50, 100% raw at one point. To finish up with the osteoporosis and the dairy question, like I said, it wasn't until I went vegan that I noticed any health benefits to my diet change. 3 months after I went vegan, I noticed that I stopped having cramps with my period, and I was kind of suspicious. I thought maybe I was getting older or whatever. It was about a month later I met a 30-year raw fooder who explained it all to me. He said, animal protein is very acidic and is really high in sulfur. And an acid in your blood, your body has to neutralize that acid. It just can't just be floating around to burn a hole. So your body pulls calcium from your bones to neutralize that acid. And that is what results in osteoporosis, high consumptions of animal products, dairy products, and meats. It's really, really that simple. And what I'd heard years ago too is they said, oh, if you don't want cramps, just consume calcium supplements. And I was either too lazy or too poor to do that. So instead of consuming more calcium, what I had done is changed my diet so my body was not depleting the calcium that I already had. And so therefore I was not getting cramps. And that's how my body had to adjust to that, and a lot of other people have gone through similar things. Once again, if you don't have the same results, there might be something wrong with your body. Because if your body's in tune, this is how it should be working. Everything should make sense. If you're like not eating hardly anything yet you're still not losing weight, that's not logical. There's something wrong with your body. By the way, there's studies around the world, in case you're curious to look at this, studies around the world looking at all the countries with the highest amount of calcium and dairy consumption and looking at their osteoporosis rate. There's a direct correlation. The more dairy in the country's diet, the more osteoporosis. It's really quite sad that they're marketing it as something that boosts it up, but it's totally, definitely not true. Any questions on that? No,
what is your pH?
Excuse me?
What is your pH?
My personal one?
Yeah.
7.2.
So you're just a borderline alkaline? Or yeah?
7.2 to 7.4 is ideal. You want to be in there somewhere. You want to be in there somewhere. Yeah.
You're talking about the saliva or the urine?
Saliva. People wonder what kind of health benefits you can look at, you know. Say you already, you know, are doing okay and you're just concerned about the future, you know. What do you got to gain? I had tremendous health benefits that nobody warned me about. I was basically dealing with a lot of people who had a lot of illnesses that they were looking to correct. But who's to say that you can't have something that unexpected happen? And everyone will be different. But within a very, very short period of time, like once again, I was already vegan for about a year when I went raw. And what I noticed was that within the first 3 days that I actually went raw, my sleep need went from like 8 hours a night to 5. Within 3 days that happened to me. Now this is my experience. A lot of people have the same experience, but it takes a little bit longer for it to happen.
Are you employed by someone?
Not to do this. I'm kind of independent about doing this. I go around and teach for free and do a lot of consulting. Was there a question? No. Okay. And then within a couple of months I started noticing other things, like my body, my whole skin over my entire body turned basically baby soft, silky, totally, my whole body. And that has no other correlation. It was totally my diet. I hadn't even switched to a chlorine filter for my shower yet, and I still had that tremendous change, just in a couple of months. Also, I noticed the tartar on my teeth disappeared. And you're talking to somebody who needs to go to the dentist 3 times a year for a cleaning, not just 2. And I was actually overdue for a cleaning around the time I went raw. And just for one reason or another, procrastinated on it. And after a couple of months, I just noticed, you know, just wait a second. It feels like I just went to the dentist, not that I haven't been in 8 months. So that was an unexpected benefit. See, the more natural you get, your body knows how to take care of itself when you start letting it be how it was intended. You know, in the Garden of Eden, they didn't have, you know, wok pots and frying pans and deep fryers and all that kind of stuff, or tofu for that matter, that wasn't around in the beginning. Also, I've noticed that I clot a lot faster, like when I, you know, accidentally cut myself, I don't do it on purpose, you know, totally, even just recently, I gave myself a huge, nasty, thick paper cut right underneath my nail, and I thought I was going to be in for a lot of pain and a lot of blood and days of a sore finger. And I heard it rip. I knew what it was. I was expecting the pain. The pain didn't happen. I looked down. I saw a little line of blood. I figured, oh, I'll go wash it. I went to wash it, expecting now the pain was really going to hit. I felt just a little mild pain, put a little Band-Aid on it. It never bled any more than that little line that was on it. And within a day, the pain was totally gone. And I can't even tell you if I can remember which finger it was. It was just like 2 days ago. Your body just heals super, super fast. Same thing with bruises. My pain tolerance is so high right now, I won't even notice when I get a bruise. And before I know it, it's gone. I'll see it. I don't know what happened for me to get it, and when I turn around, it's gone. So So your healing time will really, really be tremendously increased. Plus you'll have a lot more energy. I have a lot of friends that are significantly younger than me that can't stay up as late as I can anymore, and that's kind of cool. I feel really good about that. So, like I said, don't, based on what you hear tonight, no pressure for you to commit to changing everything overnight. How I personally changed was I heard a couple of Raw speakers 2 summers ago, and I figured, it sounded like a good idea. Maybe I'll just start changing one meal a day. Just, breakfast. Say we'll change breakfast. I started out initially doing just some fruits, but I have a blood sugar issue, and I get, it crashes, and that just didn't work for me. So someone taught me how to make a smoothie. And basically, if you get on my email list, I'll send you all this information, but basically took about ½ a cup of raw almonds that had been soaked overnight. Now the key with soaking is, say you take a raw almond in nature and you plant it in the ground. If you don't water it, it's not going to turn into a tree. So what Mother Nature has done is has put enzyme inhibitors on the outside of a walnut, or should be of an almond, so that when, if you don't soak it to remove the enzyme inhibitors, it prevents you from digesting it properly. So you don't want to have problems digesting nuts, so that's why you soak it. So you soak these almonds overnight, and then you can just keep storing them in water if you have extra. A couple of bananas, and then some frozen strawberries is what I choose to use, maybe 5 or 8, depending on how big they are. I throw in some purified water, either reverse osmosis or distilled or another good type of water. And then a few dates with the pits out of them, of course, into a blender. And you drink that, it has hundreds and hundreds of calories, but it's totally, honest to goodness, best nutrition you can really start your day out with. You will not think of food for at least 6 hours. I even tested this on the volleyball court. I would do this smoothie in the summertime, in the heat of summer. And I'd go out around 9, 10 in the morning, play volleyball until like 2 or 3. And prior to doing this smoothie, I was constantly hungry. This is even when I was just vegan. I was just having Luna bars with me. I couldn't even wait for a game to be over. I was constantly needing something to eat. I should have kept a Luna bar in my shorts so that I could take bites in the game because my blood sugar was just all over the place. And then when I started doing the smoothie, not only was I fine for hours and hours playing volleyball, but when everybody was starving at the end and running off and leaving the game because they were so hungry they wanted to go out to eat, I didn't even feel like eating. I ended up just going home. It was another hour before I even thought of wanting food. And this is, lots of exercise and all day in the heat. So I'm here to tell you, if you have blood sugar issues, you can actually do a lot of good with the raw thing. One of the other benefits I noticed is when I just changed the 1 meal a day, just 1 meal a day, just that smoothie. After about 4 months, my body naturally stopped wanting breakfast. And you might go, well, we're supposed to have breakfast. It's the most important meal. Well, that goes back to the more you tell something, that you believe it. It's actually not really good for your body to have food in the morning, only if you're truly hungry. If you're truly hungry and you know you're hungry because you've drank water and you know it's not satisfying you, water's not satisfying you in the morning, then eat. It's actually better for your body to spend as much time fasting as possible. That's why they call it break fast, because you're spending all night not eating. Now, what is your body doing all night while you're not eating? Well, it's taking that time, since it's not just digesting food, to repairing your body. And the more time you're not eating, the more time your body actually gets to repair itself. So if you have no interest in eating in the morning, don't feel that pressure, don't feel like you have to. Only eat when you're hungry. But like I said, after a few months of the smoothie, I stopped wanting breakfast. And so what was really neat for me is between Thanksgiving and Christmas last year, that's when I had stopped having breakfast. But I moved my smoothie to lunchtime, and then I would still have, dinner, and I'd have late night snacks. And mind you, I was a vegan in the evenings, but I was a junk food vegan. I was the French fries, the tortilla chips, the pasteurized guacamole, the whole kit and caboodle. But nonetheless, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I was having, vegan pumpkin pies and the like. I lost 10 pounds between Thanksgiving and Christmas, despite the fact that I was eating all these other things. That's the power of having good nutrition in your diet. So, how many people anyone lost weight between Thanksgiving and Christmas before? No. That was a nice little present.
What did your smoothie consist of?
It was a ½ a cup of raw almonds that have been soaked overnight, a couple of bananas, and you can tweak this however your flavors are. As much water as you want, water it down if you like it watered down, or thick it up. A couple of dates, I like it pretty sweet, so 1 or 2 dates with no pits in them. Purified water. And strawberries.
How much do you make?
Excuse me?
What's the volume?
Oh, I don't pay attention to that. I just, whatever size everything is,
Do you just sip it?
To taste it? Yeah, you just test it out. That's the thing about raw foods. Any size apple or any size banana, they're not all the same size. And they're even not the same sweetness. It's always going to be tweaked. So, you just keep playing with it until you like it. I personally, no matter how it turns out, it's always perfect to me. It just, it just tastes fine. But feel free to tweak it with vanilla or whatever.
Do you sip it or do you drink it?
Oh, it's up to you. It's up to you. It's really filling, so if you get full halfway through, I know people who drink half of it for breakfast and half for lunch. But if you're really hungry and you want the whole thing at once, go for it. I've definitely done it. It's usually 2 glasses full, and I usually end up finishing both because it just tastes so good, Yeah.
What happens if you don't soak the almonds? Did you say?
You'll have problems possibly with digesting them because they have enzyme inhibitors on them, which is, like I said, part of the tree growing process.
Are they still good for you if you don't soak them?
They're still good for you, but you might have digestive issues with them. You really want to, the whole point of being raw is taking work away from your body. Enzymes are the secret of why raw is good for you. You are trying to allow the enzymes that are in the food to digest the food itself. So when you don't cook your food, the enzymes in the food stay alive and they basically digest the food. If you cook your food, you kill the enzymes, and that means your body has to take its own stores of enzymes, which is keeping you healthy to begin with, and actually digest your food with that. So anytime you're counteracting enzymes, you're asking for your body to do more work, and that defeats the whole purpose of being raw. Is you want your body to do the least amount of work possible. You want your food to just go through and take care of itself. You don't want your body to have to do hardly anything to process your food. That's what keeps you young.
So you never eat nuts just raw? You have to soak them?
No, it depends on the nuts. Almonds need to be soaked.
Oh.
Walnuts are already out, so you don't need to soak them unless you're looking for a different texture. So it depends. Like macadamia, don't need to soak those. Yeah, it all depends on the nuts you're using and the texture you're going for. Was there another question? Yeah.
If a person, myself, I have digestive problems, do you recommend raw for those people that have digestive problems?
Do you know, I mean, you've been diagnosed with something?
Not really.
Not really? Well, once again, that's why I bring Dr. Dean Geske with me here, is because there's more to life than food. Food is just one part of the triangle. Your physical integrity and your emotional integrity are the other 2 sides of it. You need to address all sides of it. You eat the best diet in the world, but if your body can't handle it, you're going to have issues. So you need to make sure you take care of all sides of you. You know, everything you've heard, the yoga, the meditation, all that other stuff as well. Exercise and all that kind of good stuff.
Which juice do you drink?
I'm not personally, I guess for financial reasons, I'm just a water drinker for the most part.
Do you drink water when you eat?
Ideally, you should not drink water while you eat because it dilutes your acid, and most people actually are low on acid. So what's really funny is most people are taking antacids for prostate problems. You already are not producing enough acid in that's probably why you're having issues to begin with. You want to do what you can to keep your acid strong in your body so that your body is digesting so it can assimilate the nutrients from your food. Yeah.
If you are on a raw foods diet, do you need to take supplements?
Everybody's different about that. I take supplements sometimes. So sometimes my body needs it for a particular reason, and you shouldn't. There's very few supplements you should be on for the rest of your life. Maybe a multi one of some kind, but not just any one. That's the other thing that people are misinformed about. They think they can just go buy a good thing off the shelf and it's done. What you need to do is have it tested for your body, and Dean can help with that as well. He can actually make sure that the supplements you are taking work with your body, that they work with your body. And otherwise, you're just, it's going right out, and it's not any use to you.
Should you be taking like acidophilus if you're in a pure raw diet? Do you need acidophilus?
Do you need it? What do you think?
You ever been on antibacterials?
Yeah.
Yeah? Then probably in some form you do. If you've never done a cleanse or replaced the normal flora of your bowel, you should. If you've never put acidophilus or the other times of bacillus are in there, if you haven't replaced them, you're probably low. Depends what else is going on with your body. Sometimes people's body don't need it, some people do.
Will the raw food diet break that down?
It helps it, yeah. helps replace it. But it kind of depends on the state of the person. She asked if you have raw food, will it replace it itself? It depends on the state of the person's body. It's kind of like if two people ski down a hill, one hits it, then they hit the same tree. One person's carried away, the other one skis away. What's the difference? It's not the tree. It's the state of the person's health before they hit the tree. So some people need supplements, and some people need something to boost it up. Some people need to go see a doctor. Some people just need to change their lifestyle. Some people need to get on a treadmill. It just depends on where you are with your health. The older you are, the harder it is to fix things.
Or new lenses on their glasses.
Pardon me?
Because they both hit a tree, they need lenses on the glasses.
Yes, they do. Balance problems, yeah, their ear and all kinds of things. Their jaw might be off. So, yeah, there's a lot of things.
So you've only been on this, what, 2 years at the max?
The raw, I've been raw about 9 months.
9 months?
Yeah.
So you haven't gone the full cycle yet?
Full cycle, what do you mean?
Everything's a cycle. Over a period of time, it hasn't been tested yet.
Oh, me personally? I know people, I personally have friends who've been raw like 30 some odd years. So I know plenty of people who just, like, I don't know if I saw him floating around. Was Lou here a little while ago? Yeah, I thought he was peeking in. Anyhow, Lou Corona was the person who taught me that smoothie recipe that I mentioned a little while ago that changed how I pursued raw. You know, had I not come across that, I probably wouldn't have continued on because I wasn't being successful. I wasn't knowledgeable enough. The trick is to find out what works for you. And he's been raw, you know, 31 years I think at this point since he was, well, 30 years now I guess. Yeah, he's 51 now. What's really funny about him is I brought him to meet my father because I wanted my father to learn about this. And I brought him to the house and I said, Dad, guess how old he is? And he goes, 28. And he was 49 at the time. And my dad looked at him, he goes, oh, so you found the fountain of youth, huh? You know, when you meet people like that, you know, that is, you know, you start trusting something when you start meeting people who've been around and are obviously stronger and more successful and just look vibrant and feel vibrant. There's more benefits to this than physical, by the way. I neglected to mention the emotional benefits of eating this way. I don't know if you've also heard on the news a lot about lately the road rage and the parents beating up each other at the soccer games and the people beating on their kids seems to be escalating. Well, I can tell you that this has a lot to do with diet. A lot, especially the dairy, the hormones and the like that are in dairy. It's really, really messing with people. And what I've noticed specifically with myself is that as I became raw, mind you, that I noticed that I was more calm. That when things happen to upset me, I have a harder time maintaining negative energies or temper. Getting upset on the freeway, stuff like that. I have a harder time, I'm much more mellow when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it's really, really quite nice that when things, you know, things as they do go wrong, it's really nice to not have it like totally stress you out and to be able to stay calm through it. And like I said, I don't have to try. This is something that's a natural benefit of the raw food diet. It's not stressing out your adrenals like cooked food does. And your body's just able to stay and more calm, more balanced. So it's another benefit, yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. I can attest to it to stay on a raw food diet when you're in like a stressful job. When you're in a stressful job like Wall Street, like one of the authors of the Raw Food book, Paul, I don't know, it shows the 2 boxing gloves on the cover of the book. He used to be in Wall Street. He had a big job in New York, and he quit that to go into raw food because the stress from that. It's hard to eat raw when you're going through all the, the stress that a lot of people do. I mean, I've gone 2 or 3 days eating raw, and then it's just, how do you stay motivated for the average cooked food is to make that transition?
Just stay raw. I would think that eating raw would help you stay more calm in a stressful environment because you do not need extra stress. And if you eat the wrong food, not only do you have your stress from your job, but you have the stress from your food too. So you want to reduce the amount of stress as possible. I have not had a hard time being raw. I've been very, very lucky in that when I made the decision, it was based on A, information, B, a little bit of experience at the time, and C, mainly the food. Because I don't want it, I don't care how healthy it makes you. If the food doesn't taste good, I don't want anything to do with it. And it's pure, experience of the raw gourmet food that you can get in Orange County now is what sold me on this lifestyle. Because I swear to you, this food tasted better than anything I had been eating in the last several years. And I'm like, okay, this food tastes better, and I know it's totally better for me. So why wouldn't you do something that tastes better and that you're convinced is good for you? You're not going to be going around chewing grass leaves on this diet. You're not going to be bored. Everything that you eat now is available to you as a raw person. I'll give you some examples. Ice cream, milkshakes, milk, eggnog, cakes, cookies, pies, crackers, bread, pizza, lasagna, pasta, you name it, Alfredo sauce, marinara sauce, you name it, I've had it raw, and it's excellent. It's all out there for you either to learn to make or to buy from other people who are making it. And then if you're at home and you want to be lazy, you know, that's all you need to do. Make a salad when you're at home. Ice cream, yeah, well, it's, you know, nut creams. You make, you can take nuts and blend them with water, and add, you know, depending on the thickness, it can become a cream. Or you can also freeze, bananas. And there's this machine that you put it through a Champion juicer, and it basically makes it into an ice cream. I've had ice cream with banana splits, even, you know, with like a carob sauce on it and fruit sauces on it. You can make even a caramel sauce. All raw. It's all there. Yeah.
Is there a good cookbook out? Or a good book?
Do you want to recommend any cookbooks, Juliana's? Or?
There's a couple here. Dining in the Raw by Rita Romano. It's over in the cookbook section. That one's really good. And also Raw by Giuliano. It's out actually on the table in the middle, kind of by the door. That one's good. And I also like, what's the other one? Raw Gourmet. That one's good. I think that one's here too.
Which was the easiest one?
The Raw Life actually has really simple recipes in it. That's Paul Neeson's book, the man that was talking back there. That one's here as well. And there's some videos. Mother's has a really, really big selection for all raw information. More so than Wild Oats and other health food stores. So you're in a good place.
Yeah.
What's a typical raw food day other than you know the milkshake for breakfast? What do you have for lunch and what do you have for dinner?
Well, what's funny is the longer you are raw, the more cleaned out your system is, the better your system is at actually assimilating. It's not just what you eat, it's what you assimilate. And the cleaner you are, the better your digestive tract is at getting the nutrients from your food. So what you'll notice the longer you're raw is that you're going to naturally want less food because your body's getting more nutrients. And the only reason you have hunger is because your body needs certain things, and then it gives you hunger. If you're truly clean, that's why you have hunger. Lately I've been having hardly anything. Like I said, my body's just getting super, super clean, but I do a lot of, like I said, the salads for lunch. A huge salad, usually kale. That's what whitened my teeth, by the way. Kale is real big for that, and I just love it. Kale and spinach salad together. Like I said, if you sign that sign-in sheet that went around, I'll send you like the dressing recipe that I'll eat it for the rest of my life. I love it that much. But on top of my salads, I put onions and tomatoes, cucumbers, and then the bean sprouts, the long white ones, and then the curly broccoli sprouts, and then the actual beans that look like bean sprouts. Throw all of those on it, and it's tons of food, and it's wonderful. It just tastes really good, sits really well, makes my skin look really clear too. That's the other thing. I told you my skin was soft after a few months of being raw, but when I increased my greens, you know, maybe by an extra salad a day or whatever, within 2 weeks, I was going in for a checkup, and he was like, "What are you doing differently?" And I'm like, "Well, I had to cut back on my sweets, so I increased my greens." And he says, "You can totally see it. My complexion just totally changed." And I was getting oohs and ahs from everybody I know, and that was nice. Once again, I wasn't looking for any kind of, you know, health benefit, but you'd be surprised at what's going to happen to you, and you know what'll happen first. Yeah.
Do you exercise?
Actually, that's where I need to be working myself. It's funny, now that I've lost 50 pounds, by the way, that's how much I lost, that pair of jeans that went around. I've lost 50 pounds from that particular time, but 55 from my highest weight. And, you know, when you look in the mirror and you go, "I'm not fat anymore," part of you goes, "No, I don't need to exercise," but that's not true. I actually know that my one big thing that I really need to do, an iridologist saw my eyes and said the one thing I totally need to do is sweat more. That I have gone out of my way in all parts of my life, even when I do exercise, to not sweat. I'll walk at the most cold time in the morning and the cold time at night just so I don't sweat. Sweating's really, really good for you. It's getting out more stuff. I obviously have a layer of toxins still just like underneath my skin that I don't really know is there, but it's there. My eyes show that it is there. So I need to be doing like yoga or something that makes me sweat and get out all those impurities. So I highly recommend exercise, but that's the one part that I'm weak in right now, unfortunately.
So would you probably start eating more than because you're exercising?
Well, your body knows, you know, if you need more calories to keep going, your body's going to be hungry again. Sure, you're going to need more calories. By the way, just to cover one other thing, I read this years ago, and then I just ran across it about a week or two ago, an article on how to live like to 150 years. They said they did these studies with these rats, and they reduced the caloric intake of these rats, and they miraculously lived, you know, 2-3 times as much as these other rats. And years ago I heard this, back when I ate meat and I ate crap and just, you know, McDonald's, the whole kit and caboodle. When I heard that, I'm going, well, if it means not eating hardly anything, I don't want to live that long, you know? But what did I tell you? The longer you are raw, the less you want to eat. So your caloric intake naturally goes down. Your metabolism actually, a low metabolism is actually good for you. It's what keeps you living longer. So you live on less calories, your body is less stressed out, you're looking to not wear your body out. Do you want a fuel-efficient car and a fuel-efficient body? It's the same thing. You want your body to be as efficient with its calories as possible. You don't want to have to spend 2 gallons of fuel when you only need 1 for that. Yeah?
Okay, so I've only been raw like a few weeks now, but when I'm at the gym, you know, the personal trainers will tell you eat every 3 hours. Say eat something every 3 hours to keep your metabolism high, so you're burning calories.
Are you looking to lose weight?
Yes.
Okay. I say eat when you're hungry. I don't say eat when the clock says 3 hours has gone up. I mean, your body's funny. Sometimes you'll be losing weight when you're not trying, and then vice versa. Your body does all sorts of stuff to tweak it. One of the tricks to lose weight on a raw diet is to actually increase your unprocessed fat consumption. That's right, I said increase your fat consumption. Why is that? The fat that's stored in your body, chances are it's fat that was from processed foods. Your body did not recognize it as fat, otherwise it would have used it in your skin or in your brain. Since it didn't recognize it as fat, it stored it because it said, it's a toxin, I'm going to protect you from it. So it puts it away so it doesn't hurt you. That's why fat is stored on your body. If you increase your consumption of unprocessed fats like the avocado and the organic cold-pressed olive oil, then what your body's going to do is take the lipase enzymes from that fat and basically it'll pull the bad fat from your system. So the good fat will pull the bad fat out of your system. So I highly recommend you increase your fat intake. Once again, if this does not work for you, your body's not working properly and you need to see somebody. Yeah?
So should you be carrying around a bag of raw nuts then?
Well, as I said, the longer you eat this way, the less calories you notice you need. So if you find that you need food every few hours, carry stuff with you. I personally keep some this raw trail mix that they have over near the deli underneath the seat of my car for when I'm in a traffic jam and if I really think I need to eat. I do keep that around in my car for that. Or you can keep dehydrated fruit and nuts as well. You can keep that in your car for emergencies or whatever. But like I said, you'll get to figure it out. I don't go through parts of the day where I'm starving. I don't get the shakes. I don't get I need to eat now. I'm pretty level throughout the whole day. I'm more I eat because I know it's lunchtime and I'm not going to get an opportunity to eat for 5 hours and I haven't eaten for 7 or something, so I know it's probably a good time to eat. But that's something you'll figure it out as time goes by.
Yes. Yeah. Do you have the sheet that you were talking about?
The assignment sheet? Yeah. Where is it? Got one?
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay.
And also, do you have some literature of any kind?
Well, the books here in the store, The Raw Life is actually the first book I read by Paul Neeson. That was the one that I read over and over and over. Excellent book, especially for beginners, which maybe some of you are.
Do you have some recipes that you would share?
If you get on my email list, I have a ton of recipes. I've gone to every professional chef that comes through town. They come, I eat their food, I post the recipes that I like, so that you can, eat stuff that I've tasted that's really good.
What's your email?
Can you fax?
I can fax. If you give me a fax number, yeah, I can fax you information.
Send the snail mail too?
Well, you might have to help me out a little financially if I'm going to do that, but yeah, I can do that as well.
Do what?
Snail mail, regular postal service mail.
How's your vision?
What's your email then?
If you want to write down my email address, in case you want to write to me directly.
Do you have an email?
Yeah.
If you guys want all the information, it's on a sheet like this. It has little tear-offs. Some of them are in the stores. There's some up here too. You can get those.
What do you have on your...
I have a Yahoo group called Orange County California Living Foods. So if you go into Yahoo groups, and you can look it up, Orange County, California Living Foods. But like I said, if you sign on the sheet, you'll get that information. But that's where I post pictures of our events, announcements for new events, as well as recipes on that site. Yeah.
Has your vision got better since you've been off?
My vision's an interesting story because about 5 years ago I had LASIK, and now they tell me, but they say you need to be in your 30s when you have LASIK, not in your 20s, so I turned out to have gotten the surgery too soon. I was under the impression that my vision had stabilized, and it hadn't. So I got corrected and everything was perfect for a while, but then as years went by, my eyes got worse. And I've been trying to watch my vision, but I think what's going on with me right now is that, first of all, I heard it takes a few years for your vision to really come around as a raw fooder. So I'm not really having high expectations for a while. But I know I'm usually pretty dehydrated, and I know a lot of my vision is for the fact that my eyes are kind of dry. It's not as easy to focus when your eyes are dry. But I do know people who's definitely come around, and there are exercises you can do. If you do the exercises and eat raw food, you can really work and get that turned around a lot faster. Yeah.
What about soy products?
Soy is a good transitional food, but it's not ideal. It's a processed food, and it has all the failings of other processed foods. So it's a great transition if you really need the meat flavor for a while, but as you eat more healthy and more raw, you're going to naturally want to stay away from that. But it's not an ideal food. Yeah.
What about the pickled food?
Pickled foods? I personally am not supposed to have pickled foods because I have a certain health issue that links up with that, so I don't. Fermented foods are really good for you, for most people. I don't know, would you recommend pickled foods? So, yeah, the problem with a lot of pickled foods is the vinegar. If you're going to be raw, you don't want to eat regular vinegar, you want to have apple cider vinegar. And a lot of pickled foods have the regular vinegar. You need to be careful with olives as well. Sometimes it's one kind of vinegar versus the other.
Yeah. How about the flaxseed oil?
Flaxseed oil is awesome. Everything with flaxseed is great. That's one of my favorite things in the world is the flaxseed crackers you buy over by the deli here. If you have not had them yet, run to the deli. They're called M-A-U-K is the family farms. They're out of Santa Ana. Mock Family Farms. They make 4 flavors of flaxseed crackers. They're brown flaxseed crackers. They're excellent. I eat them with the fresh guacamole you can buy in the deli here all the time. It's just...
Aren't they baked?
They are dehydrated. It says raw on them. They're dehydrated at a low enough temperature to keep them raw, but they taste cooked, but they're raw. That gives you that texture that you won't be missing. They're raw flaxseed crackers. They're brown. They're the family that makes them. On the label it says Mock Family Farms, M-A-U-K, Family Farms. It's a white bag with a little clear window on it, and the bag's like this big. It's like 4 ounces each bag. They're like $2.99. And they have, my favorite flavor, by the way, is onion cumin. I highly recommend that one. The hickory one is not 100% raw because the hickory that they use, obviously, to make hickory, you have to boil it. So it's a byproduct of a cooked product. So hickory is a little bit not raw. If you're not 100% raw, then don't worry about it. But hickory does taste good. Hickory paprika flavor. They have a jalapeno one. But I've not had that one because I'm not keen on jalapeno. And then they have a garlic one as well. The garlic flavored flaxseed crackers. Yeah.
Are you 50 and look 29?
So what are you trying to say? I look 29? Okay, guesses on my age. Anyone? Who is older, me or him? That's what I want to know.
He was very young.
Yes.
Why don't you share a couple more of your quick, easy recipes? Let's see something with yard greens.
Okay, I'll give you my if I can remember it, I'll give you my salad dressing. The one I've been touting is so wonderful. So, basically, what you do is you take a blender and you get yourself the extra virgin, organic, cold pressed. Cold pressed is very important. If it's cold pressed from Europe, then you're safe. Spectrum from the United States is also good, but anything from Europe is safe. Bragg's is also a good brand. Beyond that, anything made in the States, you need to call them and make sure, because the definition of cold pressed in America is not defined. Anyone can use that. but in Europe it is defined and you're safe with any European olive oil. But you basically fill up the olive oil to cover all the blades. So however much that is in your blender, just olive oil to cover all of your blades. And then the rest of these ingredients in any order. A third of a cup of raw tahini, T-A-H-I-N-I. That's a sesame butter. I buy, there's several versions of it here, but I buy the bottle that's on the shelf. They're either Marantha or there's another brand they have. But make sure it says raw. Raw tahini, a third of a cup of raw tahini. A third of a cup. And then, no, it's third. The next ingredient is also a third of a cup, and that's pure water, not from your tap. If you're still drinking tap water, come talk to us. We need to help you with that. Also, a lot of the bottled water you might be drinking is not optimal. If you're drinking like spring water, what's it, 25%? Only has to be 25% spring water, the rest could be tap water. Arrowhead is actually, and I've seen Sparklets. I was at an office the other day drinking Sparklets water, figuring it was fine, and I went in to have my weekly checkup, and turns out my body noticed the water and said it was bad for me. So that water was not good. I have a really good filter at my home, and I'm not going to drink any water but from home from now on. Huh?
Where did you go to get checked and show the water?
I went to Dr. Giske here. He'll explain it. He does free consultations to teach you how your body works. Excuse me? This is a bottle. This is a bottle.
Oh my God.
So, okay, the rest of the recipe, let me finish that before I forget. So we had the oil, the tahini, the water, about a cup of cilantro, fresh, or you can buy dried and then just put in, you know, the equivalent. And then 2 or 3 cloves of garlic if you're like me, a little less or a little more depending on what your tastes are. So you can try it out and keep adding more until it hits the spot. I also use Bragg's amino acids. Bragg's amino acids, to the best of my knowledge, I've talked to the company, I know someone who's spoken to the owner, it is a raw product. It's like it's an unfermented soy-based liquid. I just squirt it in until it tastes good. So that once again, how salty, it's a salty thing. If you like things salty, you'll use more. I just keep testing it until I like it. Excuse me? The Bragg's amino acids, you'll find it by the vinegar. It should be by the vinegar. And
how much was that? How much of that?
I just put in like 4 or 5 squirts and then I taste it, and if it needs more, I put in more. And the recipe also calls for, and lately I've been leaving this out, but it's up to you, 1 or 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. So that's, once again, something you can toy with to see if it works for you better or not. And that's really as simple as it is, and it's the best dressing. Yeah.
What about honey? I mean, in the raw diet, I mean,
well, raw honey is fine. It's not considered vegan because it's an animal product, and a lot of people put honey on one side or the other on that. Personally, I don't use honey in my diet, but if it's raw and it's already in something, I will eat it. But I won't personally use it because it can mess you up as bad as regular sugar does. You can have issues with it. Highly recommend dates as a sweetener. Dates are awesome.
You don't use bee pollen at all?
No, I don't. No. Yeah.
How do you feel about food that's organically grown versus, like organic fruit versus something?
Oh heck, of course organic. Yeah, you definitely want to stay away from anything that's, they're actually starting to market on the stickers now. If it's GMO, the numbers are changing. I read about it, but I don't have the information on me. But you can actually notice by the sticker on the food whether it's genetically engineered as well as conventional. But do read, okay, just a couple of quick notes on organic. Some things are more important to eat organic than others. There's actually a hierarchy. Some things are given a lot more pesticides than others. Things that are okay to not eat organic are nuts. If you know, nuts are very expensive, and you eat organic ones and they're even more expensive. So if you're looking to pinch your pennies, nuts is one of the things you can skimp on and eat those conventionally. Avocados as well. I don't know, when's the last time you opened up an avocado and found a bug in it? Very thick skin, very, very good. You can get away with having those things. Pineapples as well. Pineapple is something you don't have to have organic. On the flip side of some of that is berries. The last thing in the world you want to eat is a berry that's with pesticides on it, that's not organic. Strawberries, blueberries, everything of that nature. Do not eat that at all if it's not organic. Same things with high water contents. All your melons, watermelons, cantaloupes, all of that. That has a lot of water in it, totally soaks up the pesticides. So you want to keep those organic as well. And once again, the Raw Life, that book by Paul Nissan, The Raw Life, has a list of all of the foods that's okay to eat organic or not okay to eat, you know, but only if it's organic.
So how about birch sugar? Is that okay?
Excuse me?
Birch sugar?
Birch sugar?
Yeah. It's all, you know, it comes in birch trees.
I've never had that.
They
Have you
sell
ever
it
had
as
that? Is it processed? I'm not sure what that is, actually. It could very well be a processed
It comes
sugar.
from Finland, and it's from the birch bark.
Well, chances are it's a processed food if it doesn't look like the birch tree still. You want to eat stuff as close to what it came from as possible. If it looks like regular sugar but it says birch on it, it's been very processed and chances are it's been heated. And you want to stay away from that. A sweetener you might want to consider is stevia. It's not terribly sweet, but it's raw. Yeah?
What if you go 5 days and you stay on this diet and then you go out and have a hamburger or something on the 6th day? Does it mess you up?
Well,
it depends on the person. Are you the one that normally would hit a tree and when you're skiing and get carried away or walk away? Ski away.
Well, they haven't been carried away yet. So.
Yeah. It depends on the condition of your body, how it is. Generally, if you're really healthy and your body starts detoxing, as soon as you put a toxin in it or something that your body doesn't want, you'll notice a difference. Your body will be upset. And there's a variety of symptoms you'll have. So it just depends.
Do you eat fish?
Me, no. I consider that a meat, and that went away years ago. Yeah.
No fish.
No fish.
No fish.
Not even raw fish. People go, oh, it's raw. Well, I'm a raw vegan, so raw, no animal products of any kind. No fish.
No fish oil.
No fish oil. No fish oil. Yeah, go ahead.
What educational avenue or what did you do so that you could become a
raw food person?
Well, no, I mean like a consultant, and you know, like what did you do so you know?
Well, like I said, we're in the best place in the world to be. There's people traveling all over the country that come here and teach us with their years and years of experience. There's people who live here, like I said, this 30 years raw fooder. Basically, you start networking within the community. There's constantly talks going on, and there's always new books coming out. There's always places to learn. So basically, you just go to everything that you can and absorb it all. And not everybody agrees with everybody. You're going to come to your personal view on everything, and you just be open-minded and take everything with a grain of salt and find out what works for you. But like I said, you're in the best place. If you get on that email list, you'll have every opportunity in the world to learn from all the people with all the experience.
And then I can turn around and do what you're doing.
Sure, there's definitely a need for it. This is such a wonderful thing to do for people because I feel like this is like the answer. If it's the answer for weight loss, it's the answer for health, it's the answer for any kind of illness. Your body will heal yourself if you get out of its way and give it the good materials to do it. It's that simple. We were not built to be sick. We were not. And your body will take care of you if you give it the slightest chance. Like I said, even the smallest change. If you only can change 1 meal a week for now, 1 meal a week, start there and just do a little bit more as your body leads you that way. It's something your body will call you to do when you start taking those steps.